guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timikenza James, and new subscribers, you're all welcome. I see you all, and old subscribers, you're all welcome. I love you all, right? So in today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew an umbrella dress or a flared dress. So we're going to be using these fabrics from my Ankara collection, Timikenza James, on Instagram, right? I'm going to be putting the link in the description box of how you can purchase these fabrics, right? So I'm going to be adding a little bit of design on the front of the dress to give it more glam, right? So I also have a tutorial on how I made this dress that I'm wearing. I'm going to be linking it up here, so do well to click that and watch as well. So guys, without further ado, let's go into our sewing. So guys, at this point, right, we are going to be cutting on bias. So I'm going to be explaining what cutting on bias means, or you hear people say they cut on selvage end, right? So this is my fabric. I've gone ahead to fold it like so. Overall, I have 3 yards of fabric here, right? So what I did is, the length of my fabric here is 46. So I folded it 46 by 46. That's what I'm folding here, right? Now for you to get what they call the selvage end or cutting on bias is this. Now I'm going to, instead of, usually I cut like this, I'll just fold in 4 and cut, right? But that's not the same thing that I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be finding, so this going, they will go opposite directions to each other. So this side is going to come to this selvage end here, right? So we have a biased shape like so. You can see. So it's like an angle thereabout. So that's what it means to cut on selvage end. Let me go over that again. Now I can decide to do it on this other side. This end of the fabric goes to this end of the fabric to give you this triangle here, right? African women will understand this more because this is the basics of tying African scarves. So you can see. So I can now start drafting, right? On this side, hey guys, let me tell you something with flared dresses, right? If you don't want any joining on it, you're most likely going to have a very short skirt, short dress, because most fabrics come by, this type of fabric comes by 45, 46 at most, and we have fabrics that come by 60, right? So if you're using a fabric that comes by 60, you're most likely to get your desired length, which is anything from 40 to 45, 47 you can get from a dress that comes by 60. But for any material that comes less than 60, you might not get a long dress from it, except you would join the down. So in another video, I'm going to be showing you how to do an umbrella dress, like a maxi umbrella dress. So this one is going to be a mini umbrella dress. Now what I'm going to be doing is, I don't want mine to be mini. I want it to be at least to my knee level or a little bit above my knee level. So I'm going to be adding whatever I'm going to be using for the designed part of my neck. I'm going to be adding that to the hem, right? Now the reason is, number one, is going to give me like a design. Secondly, is going to add to my length, right? So let's get into drafting. So at this point, I'm going to find a place where my shoulder measurement fits, right? So my shoulder measurement, half of my shoulder is 8.5, so I'm marking 8.5 here like this, right? Now I'm just going to rule. So I'm marking my 3 inches here like so. Then on this point where I have my 8.5 for my shoulder, I'm going further to mark it down 1.1 like this. Then I'm going to connect that to make my shoulder slant. Then on my shoulder slant, I'm marking my armhole line, which is 8.5, right? So I'm going to square that out with this point like so, right? So on my 8.5, I'm marking my bust measurement like so, plus ease allowance, right? Then I'm marking my sewing allowance as well. I'm using 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Now I'm going to make my curve. Right? Now I'm shifting my fabric so that I can make my length. So for the length, 34 round, right? 34, then I'll be connecting that together. I'm going to mark my neckline, which is 3.5. Now I have 3 here. My neck depth is 3.5. I have 3 on my neck width, so I'm going to make that on my line here. I'm adding 1 inch to make it 4 inches, right? So I'm just going to connect that like so. Then I'll be cutting out my dress. So I made a mistake here, guys. The back neck is not supposed to be this deep, so I'm going to salvage that situation. So here we have our dress, right? So now I'm going to keep my extra fabric aside and bring my other fabric, this one, so I can. Now I'm not using a lot of this, so I'm just going to be cutting out a little bit out of this print. My design is also on bias, so I'm just going to be laying this part of it here. Now I'm not going to worry about the fact that, because I just want to cut like a facing for it, right? So I'm just going to trace out my neck to this point where I want it to be, right? So I'm just tracing that out. So I'll take it out. Then now I'm going to decide how I want the design to be, right? So I can decide to just mark it out like so. That totally depends on you and how you want it to be. So maybe just something like this, right? Or you can change this style. Let me just change it to something like this. So it's just like a facing that I'm cutting out. You can just make this to any shape of your choice. This is it, right? So by the time you open it, this is what it will look like. So this is going to be in front like this. So I kind of find it a little bit too much. So I'm going to be reducing that shape. I'll be changing that. Let's do something like this. Yeah, this is much better, right? So guys, I've had all my panels overlocked, right? So I'm going to start working from that design that I said it was going to be in front of the dress. So I have this print, this strip, this very long strip of fabric is also just for design. So I'm going to start by hemming it, right? Just going to go ahead and hem that. So guys, I have this strip here, right? I'm going to be attaching it in a pleat round here. And if you've been a follower for a while, I have a video where I taught on how to do the knife fork pleat using a fork. So we are going to be using the same technique. I'm going to be linking that video here, right? So we are going to be doing the same thing over here. So I'm matching, this is the right side of my print, I'm matching it to the right side here as well, right? So I'll start sewing, then I'll be making the pleats. I'm just showing you this for the benefit of those who were not following or subscribed at the time, but I'll still be linking that video. You should go and watch it, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use my fork here, then make a pleat from that. Then I'll go further. So what this is going to do is to give me even, my pleats are going to be very even and properly arranged. So this is what I'll be doing until I get to the end, till I pleat round my facing. This is it at this point, right? When I turn it over, you can see it has made really beautiful pleats here, right? So I'm going to top stitch to keep my pleats face down, right? So I'm going to be top stitching. My seam allowances are going to be facing my pleats so that it can lie down properly, right? guys, this is what we have, right? Now, so guys, now I have the front side of my dress like so, right? So I'm going to find the right side of my dress. This is the right side of my dress. So what I want to do is to place this here like so. You can see, right? So now I'm going to match, I'm going to put this right side of my facing, sorry, the wrong side of my, the right side of my facing first on the wrong side of the dress, so that by the time I sew, I flip it over, the right side of the facing will be on the right side of the dress. So I'm going to join the neck to the facing, right? I'm going to snip around the neck to enable me turn my facing and have a relaxed seam. So I'll flip this back to the right side. So this is what I want to have, like this. But then let me top stitch. So I'm moving all my seam allowances to the main bodice, not to the facing. If you do it to the facing side now, when you turn that over, it's going to be showing, the seam line is going to be revealed on your dress. So I'm pushing all my seam allowances to the main bodies of this dress. This up, you can see this is my cut stitching line, right? So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be pinning down everything that I have going on here, right? Now I'll be pinning that down because I'll need to stop stitch again to hold this facing to the dress. So you can just use hemming gum, right, to press this down. But I don't want to go to my ironing table now. That's why I'm not using hemming gum. And then this pin as well, hemming gum might not be available for everybody to use, so let's use the pin method. You have to ensure that this point is at the middle and you pin it down. At this point, I'm done with the fourth, right? So I'm going to come over to top stitch again. have a machine that can do a zigzag stitch, right? It will also be nice if you do that. So all those tabletop machines, so use a zigzag stitch or a buttonhole stitch on this line. It will give it extra glam, guys. I'll show you that. At this point, I'm going to be taking out my pins. So this is it about the front side of our dress. So guys, this is the back side of our dress, right? You remember that point where I said I overcut the neck? I just cut out a piece of fabric to fill that side. So that's what I did here. Now I'm going to be using the facing for the back to turn over my neck. So using the same seam allowances as the front. Then just like I did to the front, I'm going to be snipping this side. Now because I'm sending my facing to the back this time around, I'm top stitching with my seam on the facing instead. You remember on the front we did the top stitch to the dress. That was because our facing was going to be in front. This time around our facing is at the back. So this side is going in like this, right? So I'm going to join the front side of the dress, right side matching right sides. Then I'll do the shoulder point. I'm joining my shoulder together. So I have my shoulder fixed. This is the wrong side, this is the right side. I'm going to join my bodies now. It's still right sides facing right sides, right? Remember I left 1 inch sewing allowance, so that's what I'm going to be using. this point our dress is almost ready. See, I just made gathers and I made it really wide. So this is going to go to the hem, which I said it was to extend the length of my dress, right? So you can see I have gathers. I just cut out a really long strip of fabric which measures 10 inches because I wanted 10 inches more on my dress. So this is what I did. I just gathered it like this. So I just cut it straight and gathered it. So I'm going to be sewing it on the right side of the dress, right? I have my dress like so. So this is the right side of the dress, right? So I'm going to be sewing. I just closed one end together, so I'm matching right sides to right side of the dress. So I'm just going to be joining this round. This is the hem of my dress, right? This side is the hem. That's where I'm joining my dress on. So as I'm sewing, I'll be ensuring that my gather spread evenly. You can decide to make pleats here instead of gathers. So guys, this is the finished look of the dress. It's so lovely, guys. I just went ahead to finish off the shoulder point, right? And this is what it looks like when it was belted. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel. So see you in my next video, guys. Bye, and don't forget to share your recreations with me. Bye, guys.